necessarily talk directly about God's. I'm going to talk about His faithfulness because it's pretty insane. It's not something that I easily can understand, or I think any of us can easily understand. It's a very hard concept for me to wrap my mind around. All right, so I'm going to just throw a curveball. I want somebody to come up, and I want somebody to tell us, what do you feel? What does faithfulness mean to you? Don't take 5 hours, but just I want a brief little explanation of what you think. What does it mean to be faithful? So someone raise their hand, or I'm gonna pick on you. No one's raising their hand. No, Omar. Okay, Skipper. Come on, Skipper. Come on, man. Come on. He didn't get to do welcome today. He's very sad, so I'm gonna let him do it. I'm just kidding.
Hello? Okay, so why I believe that faithfulness is, I believe that it takes doing more for other people than for yourself, and to not only do it, I'm just kidding, but to do it from your heart, not just because you feel like you should do it or someone pressured you to do it, but because you feel it in your heart to do it.
Give it up for Skipper. It's good, man. Motives are important, I completely agree. All right, tonight we're going to be looking at 2 Timothy 2:13. Okay, can I get that thrown on the screen real fast? I'm going to go ahead and read that. We're going to read it like 5 times. All right, it says, "If we are unfaithful, He remains faithful, for He cannot deny who He is." God is faithful. He cannot deny Himself. It's the character of God. It's Him. He cannot be unfaithful. He is faithful. If we are unfaithful, which how many of y'all know that we can be pretty unfaithful at times? When we are unfaithful, He remains faithful because He cannot deny Himself. Okay, so I've had quite a few cars over the past few years. They were all pretty bad. And they were definitely unfaithful to me, to say the least. Yeah. You remember that time I dropped you off at home and the door fell off? That's a true story. It's a true story. I had a neon, Kermit the Frog looking neon car. It was horrible, and it just hurt to look at, to be honest. It was my first car. I was very grateful. So grateful to get this car. So many times, Joe will vouch for me, so many times we'd be driving, and then it would just randomly die. And then I would not be able to do a single thing. I would just be going down the road, scared out of my mind, like almost trying to Flintstones, stomping. Because, man, when a car just shuts off, like the power steering, you can't turn the wheel. And so that was that car. That car liked to die constantly. And then my next car I had about a year ago. It was a Pontiac, and it was pretty bad. That's the one where the door fell off. A lot of stuff fell off, by the way. The engine was pretty much held together by duct tape, and it was pretty bad. It overheated within like a half a second of me turning the engine on, and nothing fixed it. It was pretty horrible. I remember this one time I was, actually, it's not my car, but it's a pretty funny story. One time I was with Joe, and we were, you know what? I'm going to have him explain it to you. Where's Joe at? Come over here. Come here. This story was hilarious. And he's going to do a demonstration. I'm going to make him do a demonstration for us on how this played out, all right?
All right. I want y'all to sit down. Oh, y'all already sitting down. All right, look. Let me tell you about this man. Before I get to our story, let me tell you about this man's car, bro. This man's car, oh my gosh. If you think hoopty is the word, that don't even describe it, bro. If you Google Ryan, you're going to see all these messed up cars and crap. I'm serious, bro. Like, oh my gosh. So look, let me tell them about the Pontiac. It's not even a Pontiac. It's a goddamn Transformer. They got a Honda engine. They got a Ford exhaust, some Dodge chairs. I don't know, man. So we riding home from church, churchly people, He was all like, man, I don't feel like driving today. Joe, you want to drive? I was all like, and then he was all like, my dude. He didn't say dude, but he said, you know what he said, black people. Okay. I had to censor it out. So he smiled at me and threw the keys. And I'm still looking like, he throws the keys they hit the ground. I pick them up and I get in the front, you know, because I'm a nice guy, you know. I didn't want any altercations. We was at the Lord's house. So I get in this mug, man. We driving. We ain't got no music. We ain't got our radio don't work, so we have to make our own music. We get to a stoplight. That mug just. I'm like, and he sleep. He just. I'm like, bro, the car stopped, bro. He was all like, oh, it did it again? Again? I'm like, bro, like, out of all the cars, why does always happen? He was all like, man, hey, man, I just needed something real bad. I mean, you can walk, bro. You know what I'm saying? If this is doing this to you. So we up here looking like, well, let's go check the hood real quick. We act like we know what we doing, touching stuff. You got your flashlight on you? Yeah, here you go. That's the oil. I think something's wrong with the engine. And so like 20 minutes later of doing nothing, we called Frank. And then Frank was all like, yeah, man, I'll pick you guys up. And I was all like, my dude. So after that, we left the car. Actually, Frank gave us like a little jump start or whatever. And then the car started working. And then after that, like, we ended up pushing it to McDonald's or some crap. And then after that, he was all like, all right, dude, I think we're good right here, so we're going to catch you later. And he was all like, all right, man, just call me if you need anything, all right? And he asked us if we wanted to stay at the house. And I was all like, dude, we should stay at the house. I don't trust this car. And Ryan was all like, YOLO. I'm all like, bro, you serious? I mean, the white people, man, no racism, but they like living on the edge, man. Gnarly. But look. So look, we on 45, bro. We on 45. We gotta make our music. He went back to sleep. On the freeway, bro. It's the middle of the night. I'm like, cars coming behind us. We just sitting down, everybody. I'm all like, bro, now? I'm all like, this ain't never happened to me, bro. So we get out the car. He was like, oh, dang, it died again, huh? I was like, bro, yes, of course. That's why I wanted to go spend the night at that dude's house. And so he was all like, oh, well, go get out and go push. I'm all like. So me being a nice guy that I am, I get out. I get behind the car. We push it to like the little side where the cars can't go or something like that. And so we get there, and I'm all like, bro, what we going to do now? I was like, man, I'm about to walk home. And he was all like, let me hit up Frank. And I was all like. So he called up Frank. He was all like, hey, yeah, man, Frank, the car died again. He was all like, oh, okay, I'll come back and pick you guys up. My dude. So he come back, give us another jump, and this was the tight part. Like he was on the freeway, and then like he did a U-turn on the freeway. I was all like, Fast and the Furious? What's his name? Brian? Tyrese? Oh, snap! I was like, oh, snap. He hit that mug, he's like, Skeet! What's up, guys? You need a jump? He gave us another jump. Thank God we made it to the house, man. And then all I could say, he offered us again. He's like, you sure you don't want to spend the night at the house? He was like, we got this. I was like, is you serious, bro? Like, are you for real? Like, are you like really serious? If it's died, bro, I'm walking. I know Metro catch the bus, bro. You don't know. And then, thank God we made it home, but that's one of the stories. But
we did not make it home. I left the car on the freeway. Hey, stop, hold up. That car stayed. You didn't even tell you the story. I wanted you to tell you from the beginning. Anyways, so I left the car on the freeway. I guess I'm gonna sell it. All right, so I left the car on the freeway, right? I left it there. I never seen it again. All right, so what I asked Joe to tell you in the first place was this one time we were driving in Joe's car. There's plenty of stories, I promise. This one time we were driving in Joe's car, and it was after church. I don't know why. It always happens, but in his car, we went to this. This is actually before church. See, this is why I asked him to tell the story. Anyways, it was in the morning. I know that for sure. All right, so it was in the morning. We were going to get donuts, and it's right next to this, like, fuzz shop. How many Vietnamese people we got in here? Yeah! All right, so it's right in front of this fuzz shop. I'm trying to make this really fast. It was right in front of this fuzz shop, and his car wasn't that nice either. It was actually probably about the same. All right, his transmission was all out. We stopped in front of this fuzz shop, and then after we did our thing, we got back in. He put it in reverse, slammed on the gas, and the thing flew straight. It came about an inch away from going through that fuzz shop, and I'm gonna tell you, come here. All right, it went about an inch from the glass. All right, this place. I'm not racist. All right, I'm a missionary to China, but listen, these Asian people, they were so scared. All right. Let me see your face. This is what they look like. All right, I want you to imagine. Don't do the face yet. All right. There is a glass, and you are Chinese people eating some pho, right? And he's in a car. We are in a car, and he slams on the gas. Slam on the gas. There you go. All right. Now what? Now what happens? Now turn around. Nope. Now he's the Asian person on the other side. All right.
No, he mocked me, right? He mocked me.
Y'all think I'm playing? Not playing. It was the funniest thing. I mean, we came about this close. Came about this close. All right, thank you. Give it up for Joe, all right? All right, man. My whole point to all of these stories is that I've had some pretty unfaithful cars. I need one task. I need to get me from here to here. And it doesn't do that very often. All right. You don't even want to know about this work van I'm driving right now. All right. I'm not even going to go there. All right. But I've had some really, really unreliable, unfaithful vehicles. Whenever I needed them to do something for me, it seems like all the time they left me stranded. I put a lot of work into these vehicles, and they left me stranded. And let's just say they were extremely, extremely unfaithful. All right. Let me get back on my spot. We got a little sidetracked. All right. All right. So, see, my point is that so many times whenever I needed these vehicles to do something for me, they would never go the distance, right? How many of you guys know that God will go the distance, right? Throughout any struggle that you go through, God is going to stay by your side. He's going to watch you until you have your victory. Whenever you mess up and you're just like, man, I'm so tired of this sin. I'm so tired of dealing with this. I'm so sick and tired of this. He's not going to leave. He remains faithful. Whenever we are faithless, He is faithful. He's not going to leave you, all right? And it brings me to another story. This was on November 12th. And I'm going to be pretty open with you guys. I'm going to be pretty transparent. It was on a Wednesday. And man, my heart was heavy. My heart was heavy. I had so much stuff going on inside of my heart, inside of my life. And man, let me tell you, I was in a really, really bad place. And, you know, if you know me, then you know that whenever I'm going through something, whenever I've got a lot of weight on my heart or something's just really, really bugging me and I'm dealing with something, I go for a walk, I get away, I go to Galveston, or I just get away and try to let God speak to me. So what I did on this night, I decided to walk home. I didn't think that it was that far. It took me 4 hours to say, just a side point. It took me 4 hours, but anyways, I decided to walk home. I didn't think it would take that long, and I started walking. I got down to Beltway 8 and Fairbanks, close to the racetrack over there, and all of a sudden, I'm gonna brag on Joe just for a second. All of a sudden, I see Joe walking down some random driveway, right? And he's like, "Bro, what are you doing?" And I'm like, I'm just chilling, just chilling. No, I explained to him kind of what I was going through, and he's not new to this. He understands, and so I'm blessed, you know. But and he's like, "Man, all right, let's go. Let's just get home. Let's just start walking. Let's just get there." And then I was like, "No, man." I told him 1,000 times, I was like, "Bro, don't just go, just leave. You don't need to do this. And so he's like, no, I'm going to go. So we start walking, and I start explaining to him my heart, and he encourages me. He tells me who I am, because at that time I wasn't seeing who I wasn't believing who God said I was. I was believing who the enemy said I was. I was believing in his words, definitely. And it took Joe to come and remind me who I am, right? So we keep walking, and then it gets to about 35 degrees. Then it starts raining, and then the night just keeps getting worse. We didn't get home till like 2:30. We left like at 10 or whatever. And it gets bad. I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, man, this dude does not have to be here. He does not have to be going through this with me. Like, I'm the dummy. I'm the igmo to go and walk home like this. I mean, I didn't have to do that, but I decided to. And he didn't have to do that. Whenever I finally got home, I remember laying in bed, and I was just thinking, I was like, man, like, where is there a more clear picture of God's faithfulness? Where? When I see in my personal life, I can't see a more clear picture of man, like God sees you whenever you're struggling. All right, he doesn't just drive by and see you struggling and just be like, oh, well, he'll be okay. He doesn't do that. No, what he does, he gets out, he walks with you, he tells you who you are. And then no matter what trials you have coming down later on that night, no matter what the temperature gets to, no matter what, he doesn't call for a ride to get out of it. He stays through the storm. He goes through everything you're going through because that's who he is. He's faithful. He doesn't leave when it gets tough. God is faithful. And so many times, personally, I've been so extremely faithless. I started reading the Word, and I was trying to, man, I was really, because this message was stirring in my heart so much. I was really trying to get the Lord to speak to me and to reveal. I mean, God is so faithful, but I wanted the clearest picture I could possibly find, and I found it. I was reading the story in a book called Hosea, and I don't know many of you guys are familiar with those who go to the background. I talked to you a little bit about it yesterday, but Hosea is a prophet. This is 750 years before Jesus comes on the scene. This is in a time where Israel is plentiful. This is a time where Israel is extremely wealthy. Time is easy. Everybody's just sitting back, kicking back, relaxing. They don't need to do anything. Life is easy, and it's a dangerous place to be when life is easy. Life is a lot better whenever you're looking at your relationship with God. Whenever you're going through trials, it keeps you close to God, right? Anyways, this is a time where everybody is definitely not living for God. And Hosea comes on the scene. He's very, very famous. He's very, very popular. He's the mouth of God. Everybody knows who he is. So you have to, throughout this story, you need to keep in mind that everybody knows who he is. They know this man is a prophet, and he's holy, and God speaks to him, and he's got that reverence and that respect. So God gives him a very, very interesting assignment. You know, he gives Isaiah, he gives Jeremiah, he gives all these different prophets assignments, he gives them jobs to do, he gives them, you know, just to show who he is through them. And God gives him a specific assignment that's definitely probably the weirdest one, or the just weird out of the whole Bible. He tells him to go and to marry a prostitute. He tells Hosea to go and to marry a prostitute. So I'm pretty sure Hosea's like, what the heck? Are you sure? I mean, I don't really want to, but he does. He goes and he marries a prostitute, and he marries a prostitute by the name of Gomer, which I think is a horrible name for a woman. I recently found out there was a woman in the Bible named Dorcas, so I can't really figure out which one I think is worse. But anyways, Gomer is a prostitute. They end up getting married, and in the beginning, everything seems to be kind of okay, you know. Everything seems it's a happy time for them. They have a few kids, and there's no struggles mentioned in the Bible, so we can easily assume that it's a good time for them, you know. He starts to fall in love with her, right? Soon after this comes he one day he wakes up, and Gomer's nowhere to be found. He wakes up and he searches. He goes to the kitchen. He goes to the bathroom. He searches the whole house, and she's nowhere to be found. So, he's thinking, where's my wife? Where's she at? A few days go by. She's nowhere to be seen. The whole area is talking about it. So he eventually starts to understand that she's going back to her old lifestyle. She's leaving him to pursue her old career, her old lifestyle. So she left him to do that. A little while goes by, a little bit of time goes by, and God speaks to him again. God says, Hosea, I want you to go and I want you to find your wife. Go find Gomer. So he gets up and he goes out and he starts searching for her. Now, where prostitution is in this time is not a very nice place. I'm pretty sure anywhere it is today, it's not a very nice place. So you have to think this high respected man and this mouth of God, this prophet, he goes into the depths, he goes into these slums, and he starts asking people. And I think about this, I think, man, how humiliating would it be to go to somebody and say, hey, where's my wife? She left me to pursue prostitution. It's one thing to think, okay, my wife, I mean, not that it's good, it's horrible. But it's one thing to think to myself, okay, my wife left me for another man because this or that. But she didn't even do that. She left him for prostitution. What does that say about Hosea? What does that say about me? Okay, if I get left and my wife leaves me to go be a prostitute, it's like, man, like, am I that bad that you would choose that over me? But anyways, as he's going and he goes into these slums and he starts asking these people, he starts asking, hey, have you seen Gomer? He goes up to a first guy, he says, hey, have you seen Gomer? And he's like, dang, man, I actually saw her like a week and a half ago. She didn't have a ring. I had no idea that you guys were together. I'm sorry. He says, it's fine. You know where she's at? And he's like, no, I saw her a while back, but I don't know where she is now. He starts walking. He sees another guy. He asks him, he says, hey, have you seen my wife? And this is where it gets interesting, because I think to myself, what if he came across a man that actually slept with her? You know? So I imagine he goes up to another guy and says, hey, I'm looking for my wife. I'm looking for Gomer. Do you know her? Have you seen her? And I imagine it going a little bit like this. The man getting shocked, you know? And he's like, your wife? And I had no idea. I saw her like last night. I saw her like the other night. I'm sorry, like I didn't see a ring, man. I didn't know that she was married. He says, you know what? Whatever, man. Just, have you seen her? He says, yeah, I saw her a few streets down. He says, okay. He gets out and he starts walking. Then he walks up to a platform similar to this stage right here. And I want you to sit there, and I want you to think that you are think that you are Hosea for a moment. All right? And you look up on this platform and you see your wife. You see your wife standing there with a bunch of other women, and you think her. See, scholars believe that she was being sold at an auction. She's being sold. She's being sold into the sex slave. Okay? And so, this is his wife. He gets there and he sees her, and for a moment, I want to think about what was in Gomer's mind. She's thinking, what the heck? What are you doing here? Like, you're the last person I ever thought to see here. I left you for this. He sees her. He hears the price. The dude shouts out, he says, 15 silver coins. That was like nothing. She was sold for 15 coins. She was trying to be sold. She was trying to be sold for 15 silver coins. That's so little. That's a small amount of money. So we can easily assume that she was pretty wore out, that these people were just trying to get rid of her. They were just trying to make anything they could off of her. 15 silver coins. But he looks to her and he says, you know what? I don't care. I'll pay whatever. I'll do anything. You tell me a price and it's done. I'll pay it. Tell me any price. I don't care how much. I love that woman. I want her back at home. Give me a price. So he tells him. Then he gets her. And then in chapter 3, it talks about him saying, he says, forever you will be mine and I will be yours. You know, this is hard for me to think about because personally, That's like crazy, you know? Like he should feel so disrespected. But he doesn't. He embraces her and he loves her. You know, it's crazy. You know, the word Gomer, the name in the Greek, it means complete. The name Gomer means complete. And, you know, when we read this story, you know, we are Gomer. I want you to think about your life. We are Gomer. How many times have we traded a crown for chains? How many times have we looked at this sin that we see and it's disgusting and unsatisfying, but yet we choose that? And we not only choose that, but we turn our back and choose it before God. I think that's what hurts him the most. So many times we choose what we want in our flesh because it's appeasing at a moment. It doesn't last. It never does. And we choose it for something that's disgusting. You know, in Gomer's perspective, I would think, man, like, she left everything. She left everything. She had it all. She had a family. She had a man of God. She had a house, a roof. She had food. Everything she could possibly leave. And she left that for garbage. She left that for trash. Doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense at all. How faithful can you be? Can I get the band to come up? I still got another story I want to explain to you. Guys, whenever we think about God's faithfulness, nothing can be more faithful than a father sending his son to an unjust people to die a brutal death for people that don't deserve anything. And then to watch that, you know. In Matthew, Jesus is in the Garden of Gethsemane, and he tells his disciples, he's got Peter, John, and James, and he says, pray for me. Pray for me. My soul is grieving. I am going through something deep that you can't even imagine. Pray for me, encourage me, build me up. I need this. Then he walks over and he talks to God and he says, God, if this cup can be passed, please, I'm begging you. If there's another way, then do it. Take it away, because I can't do this. But not on my will, on yours. I don't feel like I can, but I'll do my best. I'll do anything I can. And God said, God, it was God's will. How crazy is that it was God's will to crush his son? So he gets taken, right? He gets taken, and before the trial, he gets put in jail, and the guards blindfold him, and they start punching him in the face, and they say, prophesy! Who hit you? They punch him in the face and say, prophesy! Man of God, you are God, right? Prophesy, who hit you? The next day comes, he gets put on trial. It's put on trial, and see, today's a special day. They're going to release one of the prisoners. So they bring Barabbas up, right? Barabbas is a murderer. He's a thief. He's somebody who deserves to be in prison. He deserves a crucifixion. He's somebody who's in deserving of death. He's killed others. So he gets put on trial. Just for a second, imagine you got Jesus right here, and you got Barabbas right here. And then Pilate says, who do you want? Who do you want? Pick whichever you want. I'll send one free and I'll crucify the other one. People shout out, we want Barabbas! We want Barabbas. So Barabbas goes, he's set free. Keep in mind, we are Barabbas also. So Jesus gets taken away. He gets whipped by a cat of nine tails, which, if you don't know, it's a whip that's got these ball-like they're like hooks, and they slash his back basically clean off almost. He's got to go through that. Then after that, they say, "You're God, right?" You're a king, right? You deserve a crown. You deserve a crown. Let's get you a crown. So they go back, they get a crown made, but it's not made of gold, it's made of thorns. They push it into his skull, and I'm just trying to be real, because God did this for me. They push it into his skull. Need in mind, his father is watching this happen. His father's watching this happen. Why is he watching it happen? They push a crown into his skull. After that, they make him carry his own cross up a mountain to be crucified on it. One of Jesus thought carrying his own cross, saying, okay, I'm about to be nailed to this. Weighs like 100 pounds. I've got no strength there now, and I got to carry this up there. The thing that I'm about to be nailed on. He gets it up there. He gets nailed to it. What's so crazy to me is the fact that, man, these soldiers that so brutally beat this man to death almost, if any one of those soldiers would have realized what they were doing, and if they would have just said, God, I'm sorry, it would have been done. You know, it's hard for me to believe because I'm a person it's hard for me to forgive somebody who just goes behind my back or talks about me. It's hard for me to forgive somebody for doing that, but let alone somebody who's torturing me like that. For them just to be like, wow, I'm sorry. And just to be like, oh, it's okay, I forgive you. That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense at all. You see, guys, man, God is so extremely faithful. God is so faithful. It's who He is. Whenever we are unfaithful, whenever we choose our disgusting, sinful life that looks appeasing, looks pleasing, God waits there patient. He says, you'll be back. You'll understand that it's not satisfying. He waits. He goes, finds us. He brings us home. He purchases us. In mind, He purchases us. What does that mean? How do you purchase something? There's got to be a cost, right? You weren't free, guys. You weren't free. So many times we spit on His blood like we are. There was a cost for me. I can't even, I am so unworthy on so many levels, yet there was a cost for me. And whenever I was on that platform looking disgusting in my sin, whenever all I wanted to do was say, go away, God, go away. Jesus, don't look at me. Do you see who I am? Don't look at me. And He's like, be quiet. I'm not going to hear that because I know who you are. Guys, it doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter your past. It doesn't matter what secret sin has captivated you. It doesn't matter. Because God is faithful. God is faithful. He'll do anything. He'll wait. He will pursue you. He's already done more than enough, but He'll keep going. Sometimes whenever I've turned my back on God, He's blessed me, and I stare at Him confused, to say the least. And so whenever your child does something wrong, who rewards them? And God is so good, guys. That's all I want. That's all I want you guys to understand, that God is so faithful. He is so faithful. And He deserves so much. He deserves so much of us. He deserves us to just wake up in the morning and think, wow, God, thank you. You gave me another day. To seriously live for Him, to imagine Him with us, next to us, living life. Not that He's just some history in a book that we read about, but we live with, that we love, that we pursue Him. We pursue this relationship, not just knowledge. If you don't have knowledge without a relationship, it's nothing. You can be a scholar your whole life and be empty. Knowledge is amazing, but relationship is more important. You can't get into heaven knowing this book. You'll get into heaven when you have a relationship with the Father. So guys, honestly, that's all I got for you. But I pray to God, I pray to God that you'll leave tonight and you'll be like, man, I was bought. I was bought. I wasn't free. God paid the price. He paid the price. He took my place. Man, God is so faithful, guys. He's never going to turn your back on you. He hasn't. He waits with his hands open. So as the band, as we start to play, we're going to play Oceans. And I want you to listen to these words and imagine these stories I just told you. Put yourself in Gomer's shoes. Because it's only in God that we are complete. Gomer's name means complete, right? We're Gomer, but we're not going to be complete unless God satisfies our real craving. You have all these earthly cravings, but none of them are going to be satisfied. They're going to be, you can't get anything from it. So as I start to play this song, guys, I want you to think about that. I want you to keep that in mind, please. And God bless you. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. We will do anything for you. We just want to grow together. And yeah, thanks.